Hey guys, in this video I am going to take you through how to work out your own net worth whilst also working out mine, because right now I have no idea what it is. So in my previous video I explained how I want to join the new rich. The new rich being those people that have enough passive income to pay all their bills and survive. So basically not needing to work an hour at all to earn enough money to pay all my bills and keep myself afloat. So it's not about being really rich, it's actually about being quite frugal and not spending much, but making sure that you've got enough coming in. So your net worth isn't really related to the amount of income that you've got, but it's having a look at how much you are worth. Basically, if you own so many things of so much value, you're worth quite a bit. You know, if I owned 4 properties, each of which were $250,000, I would be worth $1 million just from that properties before I look at other things. I just want to have a look to see what my current net worth is. I don't imagine it's that high. I mean, I have a mortgage, so surely that's a liability, not an asset, so that's going to cost. Anyway, let's just jump into working out what my net worth is. So first of all, I need to look at what my assets are, then I need to have a look at what my liabilities are, take all of the liabilities away from the assets, and what's left is my net worth. So all of my assets are anything that I own outright, or the amount I own of something, and the liabilities are all the debts or the things that the percentage of those things that I don't own. The property is going to be the big one. It's the first one we're going to look at. So I own a 60% share in this property and I still have a mortgage on some of that. So the first thing I need to do is work out the value of the property. Then from that value, I need to look at what just 60% of that is, and that is what my asset is in this property. Then I need to look at how much remains on the mortgage, because that is the liability that I then need to take away from that asset. Okay, let's have a go. Let's have a look at this then. So first of all, I've just jumped onto Zoopla, and I'm going to throw in my postcode. I'm going to look for 2-bedroom properties in this area that have sold over the last couple of years. And as you saw there, we ended up with a property value of just over 161,000. I feel like mine is one of the better properties in the area because it's had new double glazing, it's got a slight design to look better. So I'm going to stick mine right at that 160 just to play it safe. I feel like I could probably end up getting 170, 175 for this, but let's just go with what that search said. So 160, then it's only 60% of that I own, because this is what we call a shared ownership property. So I own 60% and I actually pay rent on 40%. Luckily, the rent of this property is with the council and not with the housing association, so my rent's pretty cheap. I've kept frugal even whilst doing the shared ownership. So that puts my value of this property at £96,000. Quite a low figure for a property really, but remembering that's only the 60% share that I own. So effectively, my net worth that's tied in with the property is that figure minus what's remaining on my mortgage. So what I'm going to do is just run through all of the assets first, then subtract all of the liabilities and include the mortgage in there, and then we'll have my net worth. So let's carry on with the rest of the assets. So the next asset is my van. In trying to keep my outgoings as low as possible, keep my survival budget as low as possible, I paid off all of my remaining debt on my van. So I actually own nothing on this. There is no liability side apart from the upkeep of it. That's obviously a pain. But the actual net worth side of it is just what the asset is. So what is my vehicle worth at its current situation, state, age, mileage, etc. Let's have a look. So I jumped onto Auto Trader. I'm going to throw in a postcode near me, set it to the whole country because the prices don't vary on properties much. I'm going to try and find the exact model, try and set the mileage as enough, go for a year either side. And you can see we've got things from around the 9, 10, 11 sort of area. So to play it safe, I'm just going to put this down at £8,000 because mine's in pretty good condition. It's had a new alternator, it's had new bits and bobs, but it has got a little bit of scratch work on some of the paint that it might cost me £1,000 to do that up and then sell it for 9, or it might just sell for 8, you know, something around there. So keeping that price at the lower end. I'm being really, really careful with this. I'm going to try and put the lowest figures on all of my assets and the higher figures on all of my liabilities to make sure I'm not lying to myself. My net worth figure might be a bit more than it ends up with, but it shouldn't be less. Right, that said, that is the property and the van now covered. So other things that I've got that are worth money. This is literally it. We're just going to look at anything that you've got, find out how much it's going for second hand in a similar age or quality or condition than yours, and just add all of these figures up. The next most valuable things that I've got are the cameras, the microphones, my studio equipment, and obviously all of the guitars. There isn't really much else than that. So there's a really cool site for this. Obviously we can just go onto eBay, look at secondhand things selling, and use that. I will definitely be using that for some of the equipment. One I really like for all my musical equipment, that's the studio mics and monitor speakers, that's the guitars and amplifiers, is a site called Reverb. So if I jump over to Reverb, I'm going to search one of my Halo guitars. So we've got prices of around £900 for the Halo guitar that I've got. Now there were some cheaper ones on there, however, the guitar I've got has got the Seymour Duncan Blackout pickups, which are better than most of them listed there on Reverb, and the bridge is an Evertune, which is in the same sort of price brackets, if not higher, than the Floyd Rose. If you're not a guitarist, that won't actually mean much to you. Sorry about the guitar waffle. So basically, all that means is I'm going to throw that down at the higher range I saw on there of 925. So I'm just going to repeat this with some of the other guitars. And then we've got my 7-string Ibanez as well. And we've got a Santos Martinez, which is a classical guitar. These are the monitors that I use. These are on my main computer speakers, basically. And they've got a pair there at 279. That's perfect. That's the exact generation I've got. Jumping back to Reverb, you can see I'm doing a bit of Reverb and eBay switch in here, the microphone that I use, so just going to throw all of these bits and bobs down. Okay, so I searched for my Black Starfly 3, one of the little lamps behind me, and when I went onto the second-hand settings, the only thing I was getting was £25. I know that this is worth more than that second-hand, just hands down. So then I changed the parameters a little bit, had a look, and there's still second-hand ones going for around the 55-ish mark. So again, keeping it low, I've put it in at 50. So on top of that, I jumped onto eBay and had a look at the sofa that I've got because I've not had it long, it's in very good condition, and it was about 450, and then going second-hand for around the 200 mark as well. I've had a look at some snowboards I've got in the attic because they're good brands, and my bike and my telescope, and other bits and bobs that I've just got more value in than I thought. To be fair, adding all of this up, I've been quite surprised at how much it has come to. So my assets pocket has actually come to £111,000. I had no idea I had over 100,000. 96,000 of that is in the property, which we still have some mortgage on. So actually, it seems like a big figure, but I haven't yet bought, paid for, owned all of that. Effectively, if we take the mortgage away, then we're talking 15 grand. Still a big number. Again, most of that's in the van. That's why I started with property and then van. Let's have a look at the other side of the table. Let's have a look at our liabilities. So I've just logged into my mortgage account, had a look, and what's left to pay on there is just shy of £61,300. So I've thrown that in. Then I had a thought. I've paid off my van. I don't have any credit cards. I don't have any other loans. My phone's on contract, but it's not like there's a lump sum that I need to pay necessarily. I don't know, maybe that should come under my liabilities. So that's my liabilities, just my mortgage. Like I said, I've worked pretty hard this year to get all of my outgoings as low as possible. Obviously, if I want better credit ratings, I really should have a credit card and use that even if it's only a very small amount each month. I haven't really done that, but I haven't needed a higher lending amount recently. So I'm going to put a bit of work into that sometime this year to be able to get my lending amount up. So if I take that mortgage payment, take it away from the addition of all of the liabilities put together, and all of a sudden I've worked out that my net worth is £50,000, which sounds ridiculous. Or at least for me, it sounds ridiculously high. I come from such a low income bracket family and background that it just seems really weird to me that I'm worth 50 grand right now. But I do remember that most of that is equity in my property or the value of my van, and then my guitars, which are just my huge hobby. I probably spend a similar amount on my guitars that other people do on alcohol. I don't go drinking. I mean, I've probably spent less than £20 on alcohol in the whole of 2020, when at home bored and most other people were drinking. Okay, so there you have it. My net worth is currently around £50,000. Please help me out by smashing that like button, hitting the subscribe to see more of my journey. You can join in with the things I'm doing, learn from my experiences, my mistakes, as well as my wins. And using the links below, you can grab yourself a free stock through free trade. You can grab yourself $10 worth of free Bitcoin with Coinbase, another $10 of free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and up to $30 worth of Celcius, all with the links down in the description. I would say let's wrap this video up by having a look at my current value, my portfolio, but I haven't invested anything new since my video just a few days ago, so I don't think there's much point doing that outro. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the support, especially if you've stuck around to the end, and I'll catch you in a new video soon. Bye!